How you doing, everyone? And welcome to this episode of the Isaac Hayes Show, talking about life, talking about liberty, and yes, talking about the pursuit of happiness and showing everyone in the world that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope everyone is having a great day. Just got to remember, this is the day that the Lord has made. We should rejoice and be glad in it. We have a lot to talk about. Not that much news in the last couple of days, but there is news to go around, and it has captivated the world. So we're gonna go ahead and give our 2 cents into everything that's going on. Just want to remind everybody, please go ahead and check out primetimemediala.com/the Isaac Hayes Show. That is the new website of the Isaac Hayes Show. But the whole new website, primetimemediala.com, they have news stories, they have exclusive content. There's all kind of stuff on primetimemediala.com. You need to go ahead and check it out. It is a great website, and we went ahead and joined this a couple of weeks ago, and we are seeing the benefits of it. So go ahead and check out primetimemediala.com. Also, if you go to primetimemediala.com, we're giving away something. That's right. primetimemediala.com is giving away the newest set of AirPods and a tumbler. And they might throw some other goodies in there, but you have to sign up. You have to sign up to the website. All you have to do is give us your email address, and your email address would be your name will be in the running for the giveaway. Go ahead and check it out. But again, you're gonna like it. We also got Kelby and Joe, also got Kelby Talks over there on primetimemediala.com. Go ahead and check it out. Primetime Media, the new home of the Isaac Hayes Show, and I want to thank Kelby and Joe for allowing us to be part of their team there at primetimemediala.com. Also, if you can, to help us out, or to help me out, if you're on Rumble, there is that little subscribe button at the bottom. If you want to help us out, you can, and hit that button, and it helps us out more than you know. It helps me get a cup of coffee. So hey, if you want, be a monthly subscriber. We do have some people that are monthly subscribers, and I thank you monthly subscribers for helping us out on Rumble and all over the web. Okay, again, we have a lot going on. First off, I was debating on which one to talk about first, but I have to talk about this new reconciliation approach, or this new reconciliation bill that is coming about. Now, the reconciliation process lowers the threshold to advance a bill in the Senate from 60 to just 51 votes. So, simple majority for a reconciliation bill. I'm going to do some more research into seeing what's the difference in both of them. I know one's probably the reconciliation bill. Is more on law. It's not really a law. It's just to pass a budget, and a law is our new taxes and whatnot. It requires a law. Now, a lot of people are already losing it on the left. They're calling this Trump's breaking his promise on no taxes on tips, no taxes on this, no taxes on that. And the older millennial, real good TikTok channel, made this point very clear on his channel that, hey, guys, you need to realize something. This isn't a law. You have to pass tax laws to go ahead and redo the taxes. Trump's tax cuts from 2017 are about to expire, and Trump wants to make those indefinite. But the thing of it is, this needs to get done by a law. It cannot be done by just Trump snapping his finger and passing laws. We still have a process. And look, I think this is the problem with executive orders, in my humble opinion. When people see Trump doing stuff with executive order, they're like, oh, he's the president. He can do whatever he wants. No, there is checks and balances. There's things that Donald Trump cannot do with an executive order. And if he tries, a federal judge can block those things. Federal judges have blocked President Donald Trump's some of his executive orders already. Now they're fighting him in court. And that's what's neat about our country. Have you ever just stepped back, chat? All my people in the Rumble chat, thank you for being on today Also, everybody that's listening on the podcast side and YouTube side. Again, have you ever just stepped back? Think about this. Have you ever just stepped back and thought about our country and the process it's in? Or the process to passing laws. Our country can the president or the leader of this country cannot just say, "Hey, I'm going to do whatever I want." He has checks and balances. Our founding fathers were some of the greatest minds of our time. And people can say, "Well, no, they had their problems." Yeah, they had their problems, but to put together this Constitution, now I think it was divinely inspired, don't get me wrong, but to put together the document of the Constitution and the way our system operates is just phenomenal. One of my buttons keep going off, but it's phenomenal. This country, just the way, like I said, this only had to be done by divine intervention. And look, if you want to go look up Donnie Swagger's movie, I'm trying to remember, Preacher's Providence and something like that. It's his book, the In Light of Liberty and the Leaders of Liberty. Go check those shows out. They're great. But we have checks and balances. Now, this whole reconciliation process or the reconciliation bills, I'm gonna have to check it out because it does throw money aside. But the Senate went ahead. Let's see when this was done. February 19th, which this was written today on Tuesday night. They went ahead and passed their reconciliation bill. They advanced the budget resolution in a 50-47 vote to tackle part of Trump's goals on Tuesday nights after moving it through an all-important budget committee last week. The Senate says it's time to act in a decisive mandate. The American people gave to President Trump in November, securing the border, rebuilding our defense, and unleashing American energy. That starts this week with passing Chairman Senator Lindsey Graham budget. Let's get it done. Senate Majority Leader John Thune of the Republican South Dakota, I believe it is, wrote in his post on X ahead of the vote. The progress on the Senate GOP preferred two-pronged budget resolution approach adds fuel to a growing dispute between the upper chamber and the lower chamber on how to proceed. The House and Senate GOP have favored different ways to use the critical reconciliation process to achieve Trump's priorities quickly, and up until recent week, the lower chamber was expected to take the lead. Again, the reconciliation process lowers the threshold to advance a bill in the Senate from 60 votes to just 51, and with a 53 majority in the upper chamber, Republicans are posed to push policies through with only support from GOP conferences. In the Senate, Republicans plan the first reconciliation bill would include Trump's priority for border security, fossil fuels, energy, and national defense. The second bill was drawn up later in the year, would focus on extending Trump's tax plans from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act (TCJA). The cuts begin to expire at the end of 2025. However, House Republicans have long favored one large reconciliation bill that would include all of Trump's agendas from border security to tax cuts. However, the lower chamber failed to move before its Senate counterpart. I'm afraid of its non-starter over here, and I've expressed that to him, and there's no amnesty or daylight between us. We are all trying to get the same achievements done. Not us, and there's just different ideas on how to get there. House Speaker Johnson, Republican Louisiana, previously said on the Senate bill. So there's confusion there, and I have another story that talks about that. One being Medicaid being a part of this bill. And the Democrats are always trying to accuse us of saying, "Hey, we're trying to cut Medicaid, or we're trying to help not help the seniors." And the Senate, I believe, said, "Look, Trump don't want that." And look, even in this article, some Republicans said that Trump didn't want this. Trump don't want to cut, in my opinion, the Medicaid and stuff like that. But let me go ahead and try to find that. So da 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 da. I read that this morning. Excuse me. I read it a while ago. It said this on this news article. But anyway, Medicaid is one of the things because the Ways and Means Committee, they're wanting to cut by $800 billion in the Republicans' House plan. And look, it's a long process, okay? But the Senate is moving forward with them. And look, that's the thing too, okay? You want stuff done. I agree with Mike Johnson that let's just get this done in one big bill. Okay. The House and the Senate is thin, okay, for us. I honestly feel that they need to get things done. We need to get it done right. Don't get me wrong. If it passes the House and Senate and Trump signs on it, hey, it becomes it's not law, but it's a reconciliation bill. We can start cutting a lot of the wasteful spending, and I have been an advocate for that. I'm tired of our federal government using our money for stupid stuff or extending budgets that don't need to get budget, and we don't need to get extended. And we have over $37 trillion debt. We're getting to that point of $40 trillion. On this proposal, I think Trump wants to extend the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. I'm against that. I don't think we should. I think we need to cut the cord. We need to cut the credit card up. We don't need to extend it. I understand people. Well, let's trust Trump in the process. Yes, I understand that, but at the same time, we are swimming in debt as a nation. When is this going to stop? I remember growing up. Think about this. I remember growing up, and I remember Barack Obama saying that it was unpatriotic that President Bush put us up to an $8 trillion debt. Now, he doubled it up, don't get me wrong, so his words don't matter, but every president since President George W. Bush has extended the debt. And look, I wish we had an $8 trillion debt. I wish we had a $16 trillion debt right now, but we don't. We're getting to a point of $40 trillion, and that's because every president, and I hate to say this includes President Donald Trump in his first term, has raised the debt up tremendously. Now, look, Donald Trump, in his defense, I will say this, in his defense, he put it to the military. We have an updated military now because of President Donald Trump. If he wouldn't have done that, I hate to see the state of our military right now. I understand we need to protect our country. I understand we need to do all this stuff, but adding to the debt, I don't think that's a good way to go. Now, I am not a financial guru. I don't know everything about finances. I'm very basic on finances. But more debt, in my opinion, is not the way to go. That's how I feel. But there is another reason why I pulled these stories, and I wanted to talk about this first. Because there is another side to this, too. Okay, and look, I heard someone on TikTok, I think it's the news girl I follow, and she brought this point out how Republicans are not going towards Democrats to get opinions and to get things done. And I also read it in the last article how the Fox Business, they brought out the part where they said they're not going towards the Democrats. And they're not talking to the Democrats and getting their opinions. They just need 51 votes, and they're going to do it without the Democrat Party. And I'm thinking to myself, well, about doggone time. Why do I say about doggone time? Well, Rush Limbaugh, who we on February 17th was 4 years that Rush has been gone from us. And I really wish Rush was still alive today. I would love to get his commentary on all this stuff. And now me and Rush, I would have been like an hour before Rush, because Rush in my time started at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. But Rush would have had so much to say about what was going on, and that man of wisdom, we unfortunately taken from us. But I don't think he's worried about politics right now. But going back to what he said, his famous saying is that Republicans don't know how to lead. And Republicans really didn't know how to get things done. Why do I go back to that statement so much? Because the Republican Party, for years, even when they had the House of Representatives and they had the Senate chamber, would never do something like this back in the day. This reconciliation process is used by the Democrats all the time. The Democrats whine and complain that the Republicans are not talking, but the Republicans are doing something that the Democrats do. Does it make it right? That's debatable. But it's kind of funny. The tools that the Democrats use, the Republicans never wanted to use. Oh, we have to, and this was their excuse. We have to show we want to work with them, and the Democrats would get everything they want because the Democrats, what they do, they know how to make a deal. They know how to manipulate things, okay? Instead of asking for something that they know they're going to get right away, they ask for the extreme, and the Republicans ask for, man, we think this can just get by, and at the end of the deal, the Democrats get majority of what they want because they went to the most extreme and worked their way down to what they really wanted. And the Republicans, from what they wanted, got more to the left and said, well, we tried. And for years, this way of government for the Republican Party showed weakness, in my opinion. But at the same time, the Republican never, even when they're in power, they could never get their agenda passed. Mike Johnson and John Thone, yes, they disagree with this budget resolution on how to proceed with it. The Senate's moving forward with it. But at least they're trying to get something done. And now the Democrats are crying and complaining. Oh, yeah, now come and talk to us. Why? We have the upper chambers. Why go ahead and discuss with the Democrats when you can get things done by yourself? And look, don't get me wrong. There's going to be times where we're going to need the Democrats to push something with a 60-vote threshold. Okay, I understand all that. But Democrats don't come talk to Republicans. And I think Republicans are finally starting to realize this. Hey, you know, it's funny when we're in power and we want to get stuff done, the Democrats always run to the first camera they see and say, the Republicans don't want to work with us. Don't they know this is a democracy? But when Democrats are in power and when they want to get stuff done and the media asks them, hey, did y'all go talk to the Republicans? We don't need the Republicans for this. We can do this ourselves. You know, the American people voted for us to push our agenda. It's funny how it's flipped down. They're like, oh, this is a democracy. Yeah, they're saying Donald Trump has a mandate, this and this. I can't believe it. What's the difference? The difference is Democrats are not in power right now. And they're trying to move on the American people. And look, again, people that don't follow this, okay? Everyone that's in the Rumble chat right now, y'all follow this. Majority of people that tune into our shows on a daily basis, they follow this stuff. I follow this stuff. Two Mikes follow this stuff. Kelby and Joe, they follow this stuff. Scott Ford, we follow this stuff. And we understand that. But the everyday American that is watching the 5:30 news or the 6:30 news, wherever you're located at, they're watching CBS, NBC, and all this stuff. And when the Democrats go up there and say, they're not working with us, and the normal people that don't follow this, they're going to criticize the Republicans. Oh, the Republicans are acting like a bully. But you never see that when the Democrats are in power. And you know what? Republicans need to say, you know what? Heck on this. We're going to get our agenda passed. And they need to get their agenda passed. And look, I understand what Trump's trying to do with this budget resolution. And look, the tax plan is going to happen later on. The tax plans and all that stuff's going to go later on. And Donald Trump's going to get his tax plans back because the Republicans, as a whole, all agree on tax cuts. Do they need a 60-vote threshold? I would have to do some research on that. Maybe some in the chat can let me know what it is. But I'm just making that point right there, ladies and gentlemen. The Republicans are finally doing something right. They're finally doing something right. They're finally looking at it. They finally have a pair, I guess you could say, and they're starting to do what they need to do. It's just the Republicans need to have a backbone. Republicans need to go ahead and stand their ground. Now, look, do I agree everything with the resolution, the reconciliation bill? No, I do not. I heard some things on it. I'm like, look, like Medicaid, okay? Is Medicaid overspent? Yes. To cut it by to cut the Ways and Means Committee by $880 billion is questionable. But I'm just making a point right here. We need to get stuff done, and we need to get it done quick. Now, maybe they can find all this money, this extra money from the federal government that can't track a bill or track any money to go in. That's our next story where they're talking about cutting all this stuff, but according to DOGE, they found that the federal government, think about, okay, I'm about to, I know you probably already heard because this is from the other day, but 4.7 trillion, not billion, not million, 4.7 trillion is untraceable budget line items. Let me just go ahead and read. DOGE says it found nearly untraceable budget line items responsible for 4.7 trillion in payments. The Trump administration Department of Justice, the Department of Government Efficiency, discovered a indefinite code linking U.S. Treasury payments to a budget line item, which accounts for nearly 4.7 trillion in payment, which is often left blank. The Treasury Access Symbol, TAS, is an indefinite code linking a Treasury payment to a budget line item, standard finance process. DOGE wrote in a post on X, in the federal government, the TAS field was optional for 4.7 trillion in payment and was often left blank, making traceable impossible, almost impossible. As of Saturday, this is now a required field, increasing insight into where money is actually going. The agency thanked the U.S. Treasury for their work in identifying the optional field. Think about this, an optional field, 4.7 trillion in payments were left blank, making traceable almost impossible. Do you think that 4.7 trillion is just sitting in a bank somewhere that nobody's using? Ladies and gentlemen, this is why DOGE is a problem for the left. DOGE is finding out things that our federal government is doing. And look, there's some hands in the cookie jar. Nearly untraceable budget line. Just keep giving them money. Look, we're talking about cutting money from the federal government, and cutting this and cutting that to get us back on track. But before Trump and Elon Musk, which they had an interview last night, I didn't get the chance to watch it yet. I'm gonna go watch that interview with Hannity. But $4.7 trillion. What are we doing? Look, I just mentioned it. We're in a $40 trillion debt. And we're giving a department $4.7 trillion, or they have a budget of $4.7 trillion that's untraceable. They can give money to wherever they want. Now, I don't know if that's over the years or whatever. $4.7 trillion. Now, I might not, look, I don't understand everything about it. But my goodness, And look, you wonder why we get upset. You wonder why people like Amber May and myself, we get upset when we hear stories about this, of people and you have the Democrats crying about DOGE. They should be happy. Think about it. They should be happy that we're finding wasteful spending, and we're stopping fraud. But you know why most of the Democrats are not happy? Either they're ignorant or they have their hand in the cookie jar. Man, according to the Bureau of Financial Services, which is under the Treasury, TSA code are used to describe any one of the account's identified codes assigned by the Treasury, and is also referred to as an account. All financial transactions made by the federal government are classified by TAS when reporting to the Treasury and the Office of Management Bureau budgets. The discovery was announced on the same day DOGE appeared to have populated the DOGE.gov saving page, which as of Monday evening said the total estimate savings since the establishment of the department totaled about $55 billion. The savings are a combine of fraud detection and the deleted contract leases, cancellations, contract lease regulations, assist sales, grants, cancellations, workforce reduced. Look, I know $55 billion is just a drop in the bucket, but this department needed to get. Why wasn't this department made before? Think about that too, okay? Why wasn't this department DOGE made before? Why didn't somebody come and say, hey, let's make a department of government efficiency? The reason being is because, again, I think they had a lot of, even Republicans had their hands in the cookie jar. You can't tell me all this money going to dark places in the federal government where they're untraceable and people have access to. I don't know if government, the U.S. Treasury or whatever. I'm just. This is unacceptable. Also, Elon Musk has found something with Social Security. It even came to the point where the acting secretary of, let me go ahead and pull this up. The acting head of Social Security quits after clash with DOGE over data reports. This came from Fox News. The reason being Social Security. Elon Musk has found, or Elon Musk says, millions of Social Security database are between ages of 100 and 159. According to Elon Musk, in a post to X, millions of people listed on the Social Security database are recorded as senators or with the debt field set to false. According to the Social Security database, these are the numbers of people in each age bracket with the debt field set to false. Maybe Twilight is real, that there are a lot of vampires collecting Social Security. Musk posted, adding a couple of rolling on the floor laughing emoji. His post featured a chart indicating that there are more than 20 million listed with the ages of 100 and higher, including more than 3.9 million in the 130 to 139 age range, and then 3.5 million in the ages of 140 to 149 range, and more than 1.3 million in the 150 159 range. Man, there's people are living longer all of a sudden, you notice, and they're selecting, and they also have Social Security. Fox News Digital reached out to Social Security Administration for a comment on Monday. While the U.S. population count in 2020 census was more than 331 million, the count of people ages 100 and older were more than 80,000 according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Wrong button. Somebody, man, my wife must be thinking about me. She wants to kiss me. If you ever had your nose rubbed. Anyway, the logic flow diagram of for the U.S. For the Social Security system looks insane. No one person actually knows how it works. The payment files that move between Social Security and Treasury have significant inconsistencies. They are not reconciled. It's wild, Musk declared on post. Again, ladies and gentlemen, why wasn't this department created before? You have people in Social Security from the ages of 100 to 159 still collecting Social Security. There's so much fraud going on. And look, like I said, DOGE has proven that this needed to get done. People in the United States need to see what our federal government is doing. It's sad. It's sad. Look, I can't say the government, the individuals in government, the people that are supposed to be our leaders, the people that are supposed to that are sworn to protect us, people that are sworn to hold up our laws and to protect our Constitution, are doing this. It don't make no sense. It makes no sense. All right. Another plane crash, this time in Canada. Delta crash reported at Canada's Toronto Pearson Airport. Crews responding to plane flipped upside down. Ladies and gentlemen, this was it was tragic, but it was real also neat to see that the plane was on his back. I'd never seen that before. I don't know how that happened. According to some videos, the plane came in, it tipped it, and it turned over onto its side. I don't think nobody was hurt in this incident. And let me make sure. Yeah, yeah. So 4 crew members and 76 passengers were on the flight. 18 were treated for injuries following the crash, including 3 who were critical injuries and taken to local hospitals. Seeing the pictures right here, 2 patients were taken by air ambulance to 2 different trauma centers, Sunnybrook Health Science Center and St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto, according to a spokesman for the paramedic service that was on scene. There was a 4-year-old child that was taken to a hospital. But yeah, it don't look like nobody lost their lives, which is a good thing. In this, in yes, it is an accident and stuff. This is going on. But yeah, this plane. Look, I don't know what's going on with planes. And look, I might have to get Dr. Mike on the show to talk a little bit about this, because Dr. Mike is a pilot and he talks a lot about that on his show when stuff like this happen. But these plane crashes all of a sudden it's phenomenal. I've never seen anything like this before. Planes falling on their side, or the helicopters crashing in the planes and all this stuff. There is something going on. I don't know what's going on, but something is going on. This is not regular. This doesn't happen all the time. And this is why I'm saying that something is up. I don't know what it is. And I'm not trying to put my conspiracy hat on. It's funny, since Donald Trump got into office, all this stuff is going on. Now, I'm not trying to blame Donald Trump like the left is trying to do. And I have an article where Chuck Schumer is blaming Donald Trump's cuts for this. And Karoline Leavitt had to fact check, I guess you could say, Chuck Schumer for blaming Donald Trump for the Delta airline that crash landed upside down. Now, Chuck Schumer is trying to blame Donald Trump for this. Now, this does not surprise me that he's trying to blame Donald Trump. It does not. Chuck Schumer is going to blame. If Donald Trump would clip his toenail and it hit somebody in the face, or somebody clipped a toenail and it hit them in the eye, and it was the person and Donald Trump on the side, they would blame Donald Trump for it. Everything is Donald Trump's fault right now. Okay, and this is the whole thing about blaming Donald Trump. They blame Donald Trump with no evidence or no facts. Okay, at least us, when we talk about Biden, we can bring you news articles. We can bring you things, data to show what happened and why we say Joe Biden is at fault. The Democrats don't do that. They look at Donald Trump and say, he's to blame. An alien spaceship could come down and say, listen, we're about to annihilate the whole planet. They'll say, it's Donald Trump's fault. Chuck Schumer will blame anything. Now, during an interview on America Reports on Tuesday, she blasted the lawmaker for saying that recent cuts to Federal Aviation Administration workforce contributed to the accident. There's a problem with that. It was not our FAA. Okay, think about this. This happened in Canada. Canada. Oh yeah, but Isaac, you got to realize this flight left from Minnesota. Yeah, but it didn't land in Minnesota. If this would have happened on United States soil, you could go ahead and possibly have that argument. Now, you got to realize something too. The reason Donald Trump is cutting a lot of jobs in the FAA, first off, I think it's because of wasteful spending. And secondly, it was all DEI picks. These are not the top candidates. We talked about this earlier, where people were upset. This was when the plane and the helicopter crash. You had people sign up for the FAA to tell planes to land and were not qualified. Why? Because of the color of their skin. This happened. I talked about this a while back. If you would have an aviator that was qualified but was white, and then you had another person that was applying for the same job that was a different. It was in the minority. And you looked at him and who's qualified? Well, this one has this many experience and that. But man, we got to fill this spot, and we have to have so many of the minority. I would like to hire this one, but I can't hire this one. And Leavitt said It is incredibly irresponsible for Chuck Schumer to say that thing when the investigation is still going on, which is true. The Delta airline plane that departed from Minnesota St. Paul Airport on Monday crashed upon landing at Toronto Pearson International Airport. Video of the incident showed the plane touching down and rolling over onto its top side, aimed in an eruption of and started it caught on fire. Footage of the crash aftermath showed the plane upside down as passengers scrambled out of the door. All 80 passengers survived the crash, although 18 injured were. But again, Chuck Schumer blaming Donald Trump. He said this in a series of X posts. I'm thankful for everyone in the flight incident in Toronto that took off from Minnesota is safe, but we keep seeing these incidents day after day. Meanwhile, Trump doing massive layoffs at FAA, including safety specialists, and making our skies less and less safe. Democrats are fighting to protect the flying public. He added in a second post. Schumer wrote, those things asking whether it matters the plane destination was in Canada. The flight took off from Minnesota or Minneapolis. The FAA was still responsible for inspecting the aviator equipment, and Trump just let go of FAA safety specialists. So he's saying, hey, our people looked at it and they should have known what was going on. Leavitt reportedly pushed back against the senator and discredited his claim. She began by noting the Canadian Air Traffic Control was responsible for directing the plane at the time of the crash. Speaking to American Report co-anchor John Roberts said, and as you rightfully pointed out, John, that crash unfortunately took place in Canada airspace with Canadian Air Traffic Control overseeing it. She then disputed the point about Trump firing FAA officials, and the fact about the FAA are that no air traffic controls have been let go by Secretary Duffy or this administration. In fact, Secretary Duffy has put a great emphasis on hiring the best and brightest on air traffic control who wants to be part of the FAA, she argued. And President signed the executive order to ensure that the FAA and all government agencies are focused on merit and skill-based hiring, she continued. We want the best and brightest, the most comprehensive individuals in position, especially the public safety of the FAA and the Department of Transportation and all the departments across federal government, so we can best serve the American people. So she debunked, in my opinion, she debunked Chuck Schumer. And look, again, facts, okay? Donald Trump did do some cuts to the FAA, but not specialists like she's talking about. But Chuck Schumer, again, speaking before his brain could think and tell him to stop because it's not true, is the issue. But again, I do think something's going on. I don't know what it is. And like I said, I'm not trying to throw my conspiracy cap on, and I'm not trying to say anything. What is going on with these planes? What is going on with these planes? And I think Trump's team needs to start looking into this. What is going on? I don't know. All these plane crashes, okay. And look, did the landing gear work? There's still an investigation. We don't know what happened. But again, blaming Trump. When all else fails, just blame Trump. Also, Trump this week, Trump in a couple of days, Trump ordered all Biden-era U.S. era attorneys to be fired. We must clean house immediately. Now, this isn't uncommon. Presidents normally do this. They go ahead and will fire all the attorneys from the previous administration. Why? Because they're trying to push an agenda or something of that nature. But not Barack Obama. I don't know why I'm thinking of every other president except Donald Trump. Donald Trump directed the Department of Justice to fire all the U.S. Attorneys left over from the Biden administration. He posted on Truth. Trump said the agency has been politicized like never before. Therefore, I have instructed the termination of all remaining Biden-era U.S. attorneys. We must clean house immediately and restore confidence, Trump wrote. Americans' golden age must have a fair justice system that begins today. Terminating U.S. attorneys from previous administration. Again, this is generally a standard presided, and this is all normal. This has happened before. Now, why would Donald Trump need to do that? Because he felt the wrath of the Justice Department this time around. The reason I say that is before he became president and after his first term, the Justice Department, the Biden Justice Department, has gone after Donald Trump, and they had a clear agenda. Now, look, I have uh, um, I think it's Iglesias and Esteban. I hope I'm saying my good friend's name right, but me and him are disagreement on a few things with this stuff with Donald Trump firing prosecutors and firing people from the Justice Department. He looks at it as, look, agents were just doing their jobs, and look, they might be okay. There might have been some agents that didn't give a get a flip about what was going on, and they were just investigating. But it's kind of funny that all the investigations, everything that was investigated by for Donald Trump, always led the way of, hey, Donald Trump getting filed or getting a charge put on him. And I don't think, okay, everyday agents were investigating this. I don't think so. Okay, Jack Smith and all these people at the Justice Department handpicked a lot of their people to investigate this stuff. Now, is it right that Donald Trump should just fire them? I don't know. Maybe Donald Trump looked into them and saw something. But Donald Trump is correct. The last 4 years, the Department of Justice has been used as a tool to shut up political opponents and to really hurt our constitutional rights. Let's take away Donald Trump's incident of him, just him alone. But what you know, all the Trump people that were held in contempt of Congress, like Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon went to jail for, I think, 4 months because he was in contempt of court, and several others were. While you had Hunter Biden didn't even show up to a congressional hearing, and when it was told, hey, we're going to go ahead and pursue you, all of a sudden, oh, I'm going to show up, because they said the president already that, hey, if you don't show up to a Senate committee hearing, or a congressional hearing, you're going to be in trouble, and you need to show up. But the Department of Justice just didn't go after Donald Trump. See, Donald Trump is the front guy. He's the poster boy. He's the face of this. Everybody remembers Donald Trump because he was the former president. Now he's the president. They were going after him. It was on the nightly news. But how many other people did the Department of Justice go after that we don't remember? Again, like Steve Bannon. Nobody remembers that. They don't remember all the Trump administration prior to this administration had to face the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice wanted to silence anybody that did not fall in line with the Biden agenda. And guess what? All these attorneys that he's firing probably had that same mindset, because they were the ones that had to look into this and try to find a loophole in the law to convict people. I think Donald Trump is right. We need a cleansing of the Department of Justice. We need a cleansing of government efficiency, government agencies. And the Department of Justice is one of them. We need to go ahead and make sure that it is fair for everybody. Come on, look, this Department of Justice, the state and the local law enforcement did not prosecute abortion protesters at an abortion clinic. All they were doing, they were singing and praying at an abortion clinic. The Biden Department of Justice went after them and put a 80-some-year-old woman in jail. And look, thank goodness Donald Trump pardoned them. I was glad to bring that out. But think about this. The Biden Department of Justice went after protesters. That you have a right to protest. Oh, but they were inciting violence by saying, Lord, help these women that they don't commit don't commit murder. And look, people get upset. Okay, people get upset when they hear this. That, oh, you shouldn't go ahead and do this and fire these people, because these people, these Biden lawyers. Again, I don't know if someone were on the case with abortion, but you know how many stuff we don't know about? This department, and look, this isn't the first time. This department has been politicized. Barack Obama politicized the Department of Justice. He politicized the IRS. Remember him going after nonprofits that didn't align with his agenda? I'm making, I'm just, and look, when we get to that point of politicizing the Department of Justice and it carrying out our own personal political agenda, we're in trouble. And look, we were close. Okay, thank goodness that Harris did not win. I'm glad Biden did not continue another 4 years. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it would have continued. And look, what does dictators? Because we hear this all the time. They talk about how Donald Trump's a dictator and Donald Trump's using the Department of Justice for a revenge endeavor and all this stuff. But Biden was the one that went after Donald Trump, his Department of Justice. And you're telling me that he did not know that they were going after Donald Trump? On another side note, are you telling me that oh, missed my train of thought. That he knew, but at the same time, oh, going back, that if he knew about it and he allowed it, dictators do that. Dictators go ahead and use their political influence and their armies and stuff to go after political opponents. I'm just, it always shocks me going back to the argument of, well, he didn't know what the Department of Justice was doing. He's in charge of the Department of Justice, along with several other responsibilities that the president has. Well, I don't know. All right, I got one more story. It's gonna be a very short episode, but please stay tuned because we have Handy News. I think Handy starts his live stream before, so we should be good. But if something happens, we can't raid Handy because I'm wrapping it up early today. Go ahead and look up Handy News and go to Handy News. Wendy's got that all for us, though. Wendy's gonna take care of it. Top Russian U.S. officials meet in Saudi Arabia to begin talks on Ukraine's war without any officials from Kyiv, meaning Ukraine is not involved. Now, Zelensky said he is not accepting a deal. If he ain't involved. I just got a breaking news story. Zelensky condemns Trump. U.S. president is in a disinformation bubble. I don't know what he's talking about, but anyway, I might hit that after this, and we'll see what it is. Senate, Russian, and U.S. officials meet in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday to discuss improving relationships and an end to the Moscow war in Ukraine without representatives from Kyiv. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Russia's foreign minister Sergei Lavrov, I don't know, led the I can't say the word this morning. Let me see. Led the delegations that met at a palace in Saudi Arabia, the capital of Riyadh. Rubio was accompanied by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, while his Russian counterparts also had their people there. Saudi Arabia foreign ministers, national security advisors were there as well. They were present to start. They were present for the start of the meeting, but were expected to leave early in the talks. The meeting symbolized another significant step by the Trump administration to reverse the U.S. policy on isolating Russia. The event was meant to lead to a meeting between President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. As Trump has stated, they agreed to begin negotiation on ending the war. Ukrainian officials are not participating in Tuesday's meeting, and Ukrainian President Vladimir Putin said Monday that Kyiv will not accept the outcome if his country is not in attendance for the talks. This is what Zelensky wants to put his hand in everything. Now he can't get no money from Trump. From Trump. So the thing of it is, though, okay, if Trump goes in there and says, "Hey, stop fighting against Ukraine," why Ukraine has to be there? Okay, I understand the peace talks and everything, but if Ukraine, if Russia says, Trump, we're going to stop our pursuit and move back, it benefits Ukraine. Ukraine should let the United States handle this. I understand for that. I have to make decisions. I understand Zelensky's point, but at the same time, why not just Yushkovich said Monday that he would purely belittled and would not include Ukraine's officials. So Russia was like, "Hey, we're not going to do that." Now Trump. Let me see. I'm trying to look for it. The talks make a significant expansion of U.S. Russian U.S. Um contacts nearly 3 years into the Russia war during the time related between Moscow and Washington have dipped in the low of the decade. So, but anyway, going about it. But they're starting to talk um about peace talks and for Ukraine. I want to see what this is. This is from the Daily Mail. Zelensky blasts Trump's U.S. president is in a disinformation bubble. I never read this. This is raw thoughts. Zelensky has blasted the U.S. For helping Vladimir Putin to come out of isolation, warning that Donald Trump is living in a disinformation space created by Moscow. The Ukrainian president declared that his country is not for sale, disputing Trump's claim that the U.S. has given Ukraine $500 billion and calling the suggestion that Kyiv pay this back with mining expiration deal is not a serious conversation. Look, we all want a victory, and we want Trump to win, and we want Ukraine to win. All of us to succeed, he said. But there is nothing clear here. I am protecting Ukraine. I can't sell it anyway. I can't sell our states. It comes after Trump appeared to blame Ukraine for Russia's invasion of the country 3 years ago, using a press conference to dismiss Zelensky's anger at being cut out of the peace talks and criticize him for not making a deal to end the war sooner. Trump questioned Zelensky's legitimacy at last night's press conference in Mar-a-Lago, suggesting it's been too long since Ukraine has held elections for him and to have a seat at the negotiation table. He insisted this point was not demanded from Russia. From Russia, but the claim came straight out of Moscow playbook and failed to mention that Russia's recent election in 2024 was rigged, with Putin foes killed, jailed, or executed. Trump went on to falsely claim that Zelensky is only supported by 4% of Ukrainians. So it sounds like, well, responding to these claims, Zelensky said that he never comment on the popularity rate, especially my own or other leaders, before adding that the latest poll showed 58% of Ukraine trust him. It sounds like Zelensky making these statements is because Donald Trump is, I'm not going to say is proving him as a fraud. I won't say that, but look, he's upset, okay? I understand you care for your country. You want to protect your country. And I wouldn't say anything but bad about him for wanting to do that. But at the same time, you have to wonder what is his motives. Okay, Zelensky has been giving billions of dollars from the Biden administration. It has been cut off. All of a sudden now, Trump is trying to end this war. It benefits America if this war ends. And Donald Trump did say, hey, look, we're having issues with raw materials. We need to get them in here. And you should pay back what you borrowed or was given. I don't disagree with that. And even Zelensky a while back said, I don't disagree. We should give him that material. But now all of a sudden, Trump has false information. And it's funny how this false information stuff always happens. Every time Donald Trump opens his mouth, it's false information. But look, we don't know the approval rating of Zelensky. We don't know if they haven't had an election in a while. This war has put a lot of stuff on it. But again, going back to my previous note, if these peace talks end with Russia stopping the fighting in Ukraine, Zelensky should be happy. No, I want to be at the table. Why? To tell them, hey, we want nuclear weapons? And him, well, we're not going to accept any peace deal. Even if it benefits you? Zelensky sounds like he's a spoiled brat. And he has millions. Him saying his country's not for sale. Has any of that money that the U.S. sent over there helped the people? We know Zelensky got a yacht. We know Zelensky got a few things that makes his life better. Has any of that money went to help the Ukrainian people? This war needs to stop. That's going to help the Ukrainian people more if we stop this war. And Russia is put back in its place. And look, on a different note, this is showing we have a leader now. Just making that point right there. We have a leader. The leader's doing his job. But it sounds like Zelensky rather Biden there because he can get around Biden and get some money. hey, we need help. Just send us some money. And Biden was, yeah, we're going to fight the war until Ukraine wins to defend democracy. And he don't have that no more. With that being said, it's going to wrap up this show today, guys. Thank you for watching as always, or listening as always. I appreciate all you guys. Please go ahead and check out primetimemediala.com. If you're watching on Rumble or YouTube, you see on the screen Primetime Media. We are partners with Primetime Media, and look, guys, they're giving away AirPods. They're giving away a tumbler. Go ahead and sign up for the website, and you have a chance to win the AirPods and the tumbler. Go ahead and check us out. Check out those news stories and all that good stuff. I will see you next time here on the show. Please be blessed. Please be encouraged. You have a good one. We'll see you next time. And stay tuned for our good friend Handy in the Handy News. So we'll see you next time here on the show. You be blessed. You be encouraged. Y'all have a good one.